When billionaire Richard Hale posted a desperate message on social media saying, "I'd give half my fortune to anyone who can help my daughter smile again," the world thought it was just another rich man's drama. But no one knew that a single dad janitor, with nothing but a mop in his hand and pain in his heart, was about to change everything. If the story touched your heart, show your love, like, share, and comment your thoughts. The Hale mansion was the kind of place people whispered about. White marble floors, golden staircases, and a garden so big it could swallow an entire block. But behind the tall iron gates lived silence, a silence so deep it scared the servants. Ever since Richard Hale's daughter, Isabella, had come back from boarding school 6 months ago, she hadn't spoken to anyone. Not a word. She'd been expelled. A scandal no one dared to talk about. And now she spent her days locked in her room, drawing dark pictures on her tablet, breaking things whenever someone entered without knocking. No therapist could reach her. No nanny lasted more than 2 days. One had run out crying. Another ended up in the hospital after Isabella threw a lamp. And Richard Hale, the billionaire who could control boardrooms with a single look, could do nothing about his own daughter. That's when Ethan Brooks entered their lives. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was just a janitor. A quiet, broad-shouldered man who worked nights at Hale Enterprises, mopping the same floors where Richard's executives walked. He never spoke much about his life, except that he had a daughter named Mia, who was 7, and who meant the world to him. When the head housekeeper quit after another Isabella incident, Richard stormed into the staff lounge and said, "I don't care who it is. I just need someone who can stay in that house and keep it from falling apart." Ethan had overheard the chaos while fixing a broken vending machine. He didn't mean to speak up, but something inside him pushed him forward. "Sir," he said softly, "I can help." The room went silent. Everyone stared at him. A janitor, offering to take a job that trained professionals couldn't handle? Richard was about to dismiss him, but something in Ethan's eyes stopped him. They weren't the eyes of a desperate man. They were the eyes of a father. "Fine," Richard said, sighing. "You have 1 week. If you can even get her to sit down for a meal, I'll triple your salary." Ethan's first day at the mansion was brutal. The guards barely looked at him. The maids whispered, and the butler gave him a uniform 2 sizes too big. He was told not to go near Isabella's room, unless he wanted something thrown at his head. But Ethan didn't listen. That night, while mopping the hallway outside her door, he heard crying. Not loud sobs. The quiet, broken kind that tear your heart open. He gently knocked. "Go away," Isabella shouted. Ethan didn't move. "I just wanted to ask if I should clean your hallway tomorrow morning or evening," he said calmly. No response. Just silence. Then, after a moment, a muffled, "Whatever." It was a small thing, but for Isabella that single word was progress. Over the next few days, Ethan tried small things. He'd leave little notes on the floor outside her door. "Hope you have a better day today." Or, "I used to hate mornings too." He didn't expect her to respond, but one morning, the note came back with a drawing. A small cat doodled in pencil. Ethan smiled. It reminded him of Mia's drawings. So he wrote back, "Cute cat. Looks like my daughter's favorite cartoon." The next day, another drawing came back, this time of 2 cats, one big, one small. It went on like that for days. Notes and drawings. Silent communication through scraps of paper. Then one afternoon, Isabella opened her door. Her eyes were cold, her hair messy, but there was something fragile behind the anger. "Why do you keep leaving those stupid notes?" she snapped. Ethan looked at her calmly. "Because sometimes people need to know someone's still trying." For a second, she said nothing. Then she shut the door. But this time she didn't slam it. Richard noticed the change first. The shouting had stopped. The broken dishes, fewer now. Isabella had even come downstairs once for breakfast. She didn't speak, but she sat there, quietly next to Ethan, who was mopping the corner as usual. Richard couldn't believe it. "How are you doing this?" he asked Ethan privately. Ethan hesitated. "I'm not trying to fix her, sir. I'm just listening." A week later, it was Mia's birthday. Ethan had promised her he'd be home early, but the mansion needed cleaning for a dinner party, so he brought her along just for a few hours. Mia was shy, small for her age, and full of sunshine. She walked around the grand hall like it was a castle from her storybooks. When Isabella saw her, she froze. For the first time, someone her age was in her house. Mia waved at her. "Hi, I like your house. It's super big." Isabella blinked, unsure how to react. "It's just a house," she muttered. But Mia didn't care. She followed her, asking innocent questions about her drawings, her clothes, and even her favorite ice cream. Isabella tried to push her away at first, but Mia's kindness was relentless. Within an hour, they were sitting on the floor, coloring in silence. Ethan watched from the hallway, smiling. That night, when he came to say goodbye, Isabella whispered, "You can bring her again if you want." It was the first real sentence she'd spoken in months. Weeks passed. The mansion slowly came back to life. Laughter filled the halls again, soft at first, then louder. Isabella started joining Richard for dinner. She even began tutoring Mia in art. One evening, while Ethan was finishing his shift, Richard approached him, eyes moist. "I offered the world money to heal my daughter," he said. "But it took a man with nothing to give her what I couldn't." Ethan smiled humbly. "I didn't heal her, sir. She just needed to remember what love looks like." And Mia showed her that. Months later, Richard created a new foundation, the Brooks Hale Initiative, supporting single parents and children struggling with emotional trauma. He gave Ethan a new position as head of the foundation's community center. But Ethan kept his old janitor's uniform, folded neatly in a box. It reminded him of where it all began, with a man mopping floors and a broken girl behind a locked door. Sometimes healing doesn't come from money, medicine, or power. It comes from kindness. Quiet, patient kindness from those who know what pain feels like. Because no one could handle the billionaire's daughter until a single dad janitor did the impossible. Not with wealth, but with heart.